Hello, and welcome to a special edition of Up Close on METV. I'm Charles Clapsaddle, station manager for Manatee Educational Television, and it's my great pleasure to be joined by a key person throughout our community, and that's Jacki Dezelski, the president and CEO of the Manatee Chamber of Commerce. Jacki, thank you so much for joining us. You know, over the years, we've had the opportunity and the privilege of taping you on many, many occasions. And it's really a pleasure to sit down with you and learn more about the Chamber and your efforts to make it one of the best chambers in the state of Florida.
Thank you, Charles. To you and your team, it has been a long history between the Manatee Chamber and METV and helping bring important information and topics to the community. I can tell you, I'm not sure I would like to see the outtakes of the past 20 plus years of different segments that I've been on, but your team and you, Charles, have always been such top-notch professionals and made it incredibly easy to be on location or in your studio.
Well, thank you very much, Jacki. We look forward to doing things with the chambers because there's such a wide variety of things that you're involved with. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a few minutes. But if I may, I'd like to get a little bit about your background. How long you've been with the chamber. You've been president and CEO now for 7 years, significant. And I want to talk about one of your key mentors, and that's Bob Bartz. So first of all, how did you come to be in Manatee County?
Well, my family moved to Manatee County from Los Angeles back when I was 9 years old in 1979. So I moved over a Christmas break of my third grade year and enrolled at Palmasola Elementary School and then transitioned to Stewart Elementary, King Middle School, Manatee High School, dual enrollment at which was MJC, Manatee Junior College, now State College of Florida, and then I went off to the University of Florida for both my undergraduate degree and then later as a working professional, my graduate degree as well. And so my family has been in Manatee County since the late 70s. My dad worked for Delta Airlines, and so when Delta started flying into SRQ, into Sarasota Bradenton International Airport, that's the reason we moved here from California, but all of my family is from Michigan. So I really consider my roots to be as a Michigander, a long line of farmers, carpenters out of a little town outside Traverse City, Michigan.
And do you get back up to Michigan every once in a while?
I do. We still are blessed and so fortunate to incredible stewardship for several generations that the family farm is still in the family. And so I head up several times a year, get on a tractor, help put the garden in, and just enjoy another West Coast view, which is the West Coast of Michigan. So I consider myself a sunset girl. Born and raised in Los Angeles before we moved here, so enjoyed sunsets over the Pacific. All my family's from the west coast of Michigan, sunsets over Lake Michigan, and now, of course, a Floridian, a Gulf Coast girl with sunsets over the Gulf of Mexico.
And we're looking forward to a long period of time that you continue and to make this your home. And if I may, knowing your family a little bit, you have a wonderful family. Tell us a little bit about your husband and your children.
Sure. My husband is Mike Kennedy, and we met at a Manatee Chamber of Commerce networking event, believe it or not. He was just a few weeks into his time. At the time, his employer was the Pittsburgh Pirates, and so he came to a chamber event, and we struck up a friendship, and several years later ended up with a loving marriage and 2 children. I have a son, Micah, who is a 9th grader currently, and a daughter, Lucy, who is in 6th grade.
Well, you should be very proud. Knowing Mike, he's a great guy, and you guys are a tremendous couple. And I wish you continued success in this happy marriage. So, but you have really, Jacki, over the years, dedicated yourself to the Chamber of Commerce. When you came aboard quite a few years ago, you were here, and the chamber was somewhat different. It isn't the same vibrant type of chamber that perhaps it once was. Tell us a little bit about the importance of the chamber and how you've seen it grow and develop.
Sure. I've been on the chamber team since 1996. So I just hit my 25th or 28th, I'm sorry, anniversary with the chamber. Right, time flies. Over that period of time, I've had 5 different positions here at the chamber, which I think has really afforded me a unique perspective now in the role of president and CEO, in that I've held several different positions and had the opportunity to lead different initiatives and priorities of the chamber over those 5 positions. I started in a part-time role with the chamber back in 1996 as the communications manager. So it's really kind of, I think, a fun story to know that I started part-time back when I was 25 years old, and here we are 28 years later, and I've ascended to the president and CEO role because of just incredible mentorship and training and relationship building, both by Bob Bartz, the late CEO of the chamber, past team members here at the chamber, and then of course our members, our board leadership. I can't tell you how lucky I am to have learned from and worked beside the best people in Manatee County for more than 2 decades.
And if I may say so, Jackie, and I appreciate your recognition of your partnerships that you've developed, but I must say, having had the opportunity to work with you over all these years, you are extraordinarily well articulated, informed, and knowledgeable about not only the issues that are facing your board members, but community statewide issues that you, as the president and CEO, kind of take a lead on and draw in the partnerships that you need to develop those.
Well, thank you. Certainly, we all have our talents and our strengths, but again, I give full credit to my passion for this type of work coming because I started with this Chamber of Commerce, with the type of organization that Bob Bartz and all of the past chairmen and past team members and past committee members have built to make this the type of job organization I'd want to stay with for 28 years. I get asked from time to time when someone brings up tenure and my tenure, because it's not that common really for Gen Xers like me to stay with a single employer for as long as I have, although it's certainly not unheard of. And I get asked, why? What is it about the chamber or this work that has kept you interested, engaged, motivated, inspired? And it's the people. Hands down, it's the people. And not only am I working with the best people and helping make a difference in the community in which I grew up in and in which I'm raising my children, but I believe, without hesitation, that the work we do every day, the work this chamber team here at the Manatee Chamber does every day, absolutely makes a difference.
Well, if I may say, I think a great deal of the effort is due the leadership of the chamber. And that's why I want to kind of segue to your working relationship, your friend relationship with Bob Bartz. Bob is still thought of very highly throughout this community. He's done exceptional things. He did exceptional things for the chamber and the community. And I can only imagine the in-depth mentorship that the two of you developed.
Absolutely. I count it as one of the most important relationships that I've had in my life is the relationship that I had with Bob Bartz. Certainly he was my supervisor for all of the years that I served on his team, but he really was a true friend as well. And his encouragement of me and of all of our team, the culture that he built of continuous self-improvement and a desire to learn, a desire to ensure that we were well informed so that we could best serve the businesses and organizations that choose to invest in the chamber. He instilled in me from day one that were it not for this business community and more specifically our chamber members, our investors,
right,
there wouldn't be a Chamber of Commerce. And not only that, but then he supported our team in becoming the very best professionals working within the chamber industry that we could be. And so he supported me in going back to pursue my master's degree in business administration while I was working full-time at the chamber. Right. So he allowed me the flexibility and time to be able to be successful in doing that as a full-time working professional. He encouraged all of our leadership team to pursue Chamber Institute, which is a national credential that can be earned by chamber professionals. And, we've got a gorgeous memorial plaque to Bob that we had installed here at the Bradenton office where we're doing this interview for the chamber to commemorate Bob and his legacy. And it truly is a legacy. And I appreciate you mentioning it and bringing it up. And I think that the end of that, the words that we shared about Bob here in such a public way outside the building were, he did the right thing. He did the hard work because it was the right thing to do.
And if I may say so, the two of you were a great team. And as a mentor, I can only imagine the in-depth focus that he allowed people to develop. And hats off to Bob for all of because he served for quite a few years, as I think it was over 30 years Correct. Or so, that he was the president and CEO. And he did a wonderful job. And one of the things that was achieved during his and your involvement was the fact that you won, this chamber has won Outstanding Chamber of the Year 5 times for the state of Florida, and once a national award for the best chamber. That had to be significant. Tell us a little bit about that and why it's such an important asset for the chamber to have.
Well, it is, and sometimes it feels a little uncomfortable to say we've been National Chamber of the Year. We're the only 5-time recipient of the Florida Chamber of the Year award because truly. We're always looking forward, but celebration is important as well. And we want the Chamber's membership to feel ownership over those awards because I was lucky enough to do a lot of the hard work in herding the cats to put those applications together. And Bob entrusted me, even with our first award, in putting that together, helping spearhead it. So I know the amount of work, the amount of information, the documentation that goes into the applications for both the state and the national award. And it really asks you to take, a microscopic look at everything from operations and finance, governance, your programming, strategic planning, member benefits, your advocacy. I mean, they are intensive applications. They take months and months to put together. And so really when we say we won, it's the business community here in the greater Manatee County region that earned those awards. And thankfully, it's their investment in the chamber that allows the work to get done. And I probably will never forget, I hope I never forget the national award.
That had to be such a proud thing for you.
It was quite something, and it's a multi-step process to get to the point of being a finalist for the national award, as you might imagine. And so there were steps along the way that were qualifying steps, and so we succeeded in the initial and then the second step, and we were invited to the national conference, and that year it was in Sacramento. So Bob and I and Debbie Herkert, a late former employee of the chamber and EDC as well, were in Sacramento. There was then in-person interviews, and so then you're at this big gala dinner, 1,000 people, chamber professionals from chambers of all sizes, from across the country, and you're sitting at this dinner and they announce it sort of Academy Awards style. And so you're sitting there at the table and you're like, okay, just control your reaction. Not that there's cameras on you, but you're like, if the camera's on and we don't win, and we had no expectation that, that we would earn the very top honor. We were so proud of what this business community accomplished to get to that point. But then when they announced for our category, the size of chamber, the Manatee Chamber of Commerce, Bob, I will never forget, Bob turned and looked at Debbie and I at the table and he said, "Unbelievable." And then, we go up on stage and it was just a truly amazing evening, and then to come back to Manatee County and to celebrate that honor with the membership. We had a membership-wide celebration. Everyone could come and really understand the power of the voice of business. And that really is what, the mission of the Chamber is, to both support businesses, employers, nonprofits, but also to harness that voice to make a difference.
Well, I must say about the award that you have, well deserved.
Thank you.
I mean, the effort, time, energy that had to go into that to move forward, it had to be significant. And to be recognized nationally is a significant achievement. And not only you should be so proud of it, but it's such a well-deserved recognition. And I think people in our community know that. Thanks to people like you and Bob, who made the forward progress on this thing. So, and you mentioned a couple of things times earlier about your members and how important and what they bring to the table. Tell us a little bit about that member involvement. First of all, how many members do you have in the Chamber? How has it grown since you first came on board? And what are some of the significant things Chamber members can expect from the Chamber of Commerce?
Sure. And we've had a growing membership, and there have been times even in difficult cycles within the economy where, we contract a little bit like most organizations do, but we are so proud that since the inception of its, I guess you'd call it a ranking system, the Tampa Bay Business Journal every summer takes a census of chambers of commerce in the greater Tampa Bay region. So from Lakeland through Tampa, St. Pete, Bradenton, Sarasota, down through Venice to Naples, and they then publish a ranking of chambers of commerce by size. And every year that they have done that, completed that census, the Manatee Chamber has the largest chamber in Tampa Bay by number of member firms. So again, there's just something so special about the business community in the greater Manatee County region for us to continue to maintain the #1 spot as the largest chamber of commerce in Tampa Bay. And that can be surprising to people, right? They think, okay, Tampa, this larger city, but and they do a phenomenal job. All of our sister chambers in the Tampa Bay region do, and I would encourage anyone doing business in any other community, any other county to join those local chambers of commerce as well. But the membership is the mission. And so it takes the investment of the business community to ensure that a chamber of commerce flourishes and is healthy and is able to not just deliver on their existing program of work, but to constantly have a finger on the pulse to consider what else it is that we need to be doing to support the mission. And so our mission is to build a positive business environment while enhancing the community's quality of life. And it's been very carefully crafted over the years to encompass really what I consider both sides of that mission statement. Of course, a Chamber of Commerce is interested in the economic health of the community, right? That building a positive business environment. But I think one thing that is unique in the way that our chamber sets its mission and its program of work is that quality of life side of our stated mission. Because we know that in order for a community to thrive and have a strong quality of life, it has to have a thriving, growing business community. But the inverse is true as well. In order to have a growing, thriving business community, particularly in this day and age, when people can choose to live anywhere, you have to have a quality of life that attracts and retains the workforce and the population that you need for businesses to thrive. And so we do an equal amount of work really on both sides of that mission statement, which again, For some people who are new to chamber membership or have been a chamber member somewhere else, it's that work on the quality of life of our community, which is education, healthcare, natural resources, transportation.
All of those many things.
That is so important.
Which the chamber really has a voice in. And I want to talk a little bit about that, about the voice that the chamber has. First of all, you recognize your membership and their involvement throughout the year, and rightfully so, because your chamber's members are such a vital, important part of your mission. You have the annual dinner, which is a big event, well attended, and significant because it's recognizing all the members that are out there, large and small. You do the Small Business Awards, which is a really significant. You have many different categories of small business owners that are recognized for their efforts. You do the Headliners, which is an outreach program, and also coming up, you have your Champions of Healthcare, which recognizes people in the healthcare community. If you can, tell us a little bit about each of those events and what it means to members and why they're so significant for that recognition.
Sure. You know, we really consider ourselves world-class connectors. And so, again, similar to, kind of how I stated it earlier, of course we do and offer networking opportunities and opportunities for businesses to connect to one another and also to connect to the market and potential new customers. So we do world-class programming and opportunities around that. We also consider—
It is world-class.
Thank you. We also consider being a world-class connector the ability to connect our members to the resources and information that they need. I also think that being a world-class connector means celebrating the successes of the people, the businesses, the entities in your community that are doing things at a world-class level themselves. And so the recognition programs that you so expertly rattled off, so you've been a partner with us for a while.
For a while. For a while.
I was like, gosh, did he miss any? I don't think he did.
Did we miss any? No, I don't think so.
Whether it's the annual dinner and the annual Bart's Leadership Award, or
very important,
the Champions of Healthcare Awards, the Small Business of the Year Awards, our Manatee Young Professionals Awards.
Which I want you to take a few minutes to talk about them, because that is a unique opportunity for people throughout the community to get in-depth information about such a wide variety of things that are happening here in Manatee County. Places to work, play, live, all of those things are kind of focused on through your Leadership Academy.
Absolutely. And additionally, we have the Business Education Partnership Awards, which METV has been an important partner in. And so I think taking the time to celebrate the success stories in your community is so important. Certainly the events offer a great networking opportunity, and that's important as well. But what I think is more important is ensuring that entities, individuals, leaders, successful businesses are recognized, because, saying we have is, if not the Manatee Chamber, then who? Who would be taking the time, expending the resources, ensuring the promotion of the businesses and organizations in the community that are achieving world-class results themselves? Often there's a component of community engagement, even philanthropy, volunteerism in a lot of the stories that we hear at all of those awards programs. And so those days become the very best days of the year for our team. They're a heck of a lot of work, but it's because our members invest and take the time to send in nominations and the whole yards, that even all of the late nights, blood, sweat, and tears, and putting on world-class events, particularly those that are our awards programs, end up being the very best days of the year, because the stories you hear about people, because at the end of the day, these businesses are run by and staffed by people in this community. Hands down, it's one of the best parts of the job.
And some businesses that have been recognized, they have 3, 4 employees, but they're really emphasizing the chamber as being part of their success story. And I think you used a key word, which is truly representative of what you're talking about, is that your members invest back into the community. Time, effort, their own resources sometimes to make the chamber successful. And that's important. That's really important.
It is. Engagement opportunities are really important. And so I know one direction that we wanted to head in today's discussion was around advocacy as well, and being the voice of business. And were it not for the engagement of our members, how could the chamber be the voice of business if we don't hear from businesses? And so one of the ways in which we're able to build a very successful advocacy effort at the local level, the state level, and even the federal level when it comes to the chamber being the voice of business to our elected officials and policymakers is because we have almost 500 chamber members that serve on one of our committees or task forces. And any given year,
so important.
We have, between 15 or 20 committees that are meeting regularly to get the business community's brain power and expertise and influence and ideas and bring it to bear on important issues. A transportation committee, so that we're ensuring that the voice of business is heard as we're planning and funding infrastructure. Healthcare, our healthcare committee.
Critical.
Education and Workforce Partnership Committee,
Critical.
Natural Resources Committee. I mean, the list goes on. And were it not for chamber members who are willing to give of their time, right? Time that's away from their family, time that's away from their business, but they understand the power of working together and using the Manatee Chamber as the conduit to be that voice.
And as you said, it's investment of time, it's engagement, and you are really leading the way on that involvement. And you have, and you're going to continue to do so. And you mentioned, all the partnerships or some of the partnerships that you're involved in. But really one of the most important aspects, I would think, is your dealings with government, both local and state government. You have teams of people that meet with, our local leaders and teams of people that meet with the statewide leaders. That's an important part because some of these are statewide issues, as you mentioned, healthcare, infrastructure, and a wide variety of other things as well. And you have the opportunity to visit Tallahassee, sit down with our great legislators, and talk about issues and where they want to move forward with. And I think that's a very critical part of the infrastructure within the chamber to be able to have that solid partnership with your legislators.
I do. You hit it spot on, Charles. And I also think it's one of the unique value propositions of why a business should invest in and get involved, be a member of the Manatee Chamber, is that ability to be part of the influence of public policy as we move forward as a community. Look, we're lucky here, not just in Florida, but in Manatee County specifically, that we continue to be on a growth trend, right? It brings its own challenges related to infrastructure and keeping up with growth and battling, the difficulties that meteoric growth can put straining infrastructure. But it also provides so much opportunity, and I will take the challenges that come with growth. Every day compared to some of my peers who are in communities that have contracted, particularly since COVID. There are areas that people are leaving. I'll take our challenges all day long. But through the Manatee Chamber and being involved in the chamber, whether it's because a business wants to be able to influence policy or whether it's because a business wants to better understand the environment, the challenges, the opportunities, committee involvement and engagement with our chamber really serves that purpose as well, as business people join committees to learn, not just to have a voice. I mean, none of us have all of the answers, which is why partnerships have been so important to our chamber, and that includes partnerships with elected officials, as importantly, partnerships with professional staff within government and agencies as well. The people who have dedicated their careers, to their professional careers, to the work of local government, state government, federal government. We count many of them as friends as well, because we're all working towards the same end, which is a better community, a more vibrant community, a healthier community in every definition, of health. And I'm so proud of this chamber and this business community and how they've engaged through our committees to make a difference.
And again, I must stress that through your leadership and the focus on the issues that we're just talking about, the chamber has grown. It is a significant player. People in government listen to the chamber. Your members are involved, engaged with working with the legislatures. So it's a forward progress, win-win situation, I see, for both membership and government to work together. And you should be very, very proud of the leadership that you continue to provide, so these can all move forward.
Yeah, and again, my leadership and the opportunity to be in this role is really building upon decades of accomplishment, the reputation, the legacy of business leadership through the Manatee Chamber, has been built for more than a generation. And it really does make a difference. And I'm reminded of that, even in the face of difficult issues that have lots of opinions. I think at the end of the day, if you can get people seated at a table together, communicating. We don't always have to agree with all of the tenets of a decision or an issue, but if we can agree that we want the community to move forward, then I believe often the best ideas raised to the top and everyone has had a voice.
And again, under the guidance of the chamber, you have so many resources that you can provide, not only to your members, but also to government as well. Because I'm sure government comes to you, members come to you and say, Jackie, what do you think about this? Which path should we take? What's your thoughts on the matter? And because you're so well respected and admired throughout the community, your words carry weight. And, if you decide to move in one direction or the other, that's a good thing, because people need information from someone who's so well informed like you are.
Well, thank you. And I'm empowered by the board of directors. And the board of directors sets our policy direction. They empower me then to carry that forward. Really, our team, I love it when our team is out in front on issues as well as empowered by the board of directors. And I'll tell you, our board of directors absolutely relies, again, on that committee infrastructure that underpins all of the due diligence that we must go through when we're considering issues and whether or not the chamber should have a publicly stated position on issues.
And I must say, over the years that we've been involved with the chamber, which have been many, you've had a great board of directors and great president of your board, leaders in their own right, but who are committed to having the chamber develop and nurture other members as they come in. The one thing that you've mentioned, and I'd like you to take a few minutes to talk about it, is about your team. We've had the opportunity over the years to work with many people here connected with the chamber, and they're all excellent. Again, thanks to your leadership and your efforts, you have a great team of people. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we have a phenomenal team here at the chamber, and while certainly we've had team members that have in roles that have evolved and changed over the years, I'll tell you, I couldn't be prouder of the team that we have today. They come to work every day believing that the chamber makes a difference and wanting to be an integral part of that. And, I say 95% of the time, one of the best parts of the job of working for the Manatee Chamber is you kind of know a little bit about almost everything that's going on, in the community. 5% of the time, it's like, okay, can I just today not be thinking about those things? Can I just go to the grocery store and not run into, a dozen chamber members? But no, in all seriousness, our team approaches their job knowing that we're here because our members choose to invest in the chamber. And if there would ever be a day in which we aren't providing value or living up to the mission, the program of work that we have promised to our members, we'd be in some trouble. But thankfully, there is such an incredibly well-oiled machine, including the chamber's member leaders, that I have full expectations that we, like the community, will continue to grow, continue to expand the opportunities that we have to provide benefit to members who invest in the chamber, and continue to get to work with the very best people in the community.
Well, and not only that, you recognize them afterwards, during the many events that you sponsor throughout the year, and your staff, your team, is always there, and they have such a wide comprehension and commitment to making sure that the chamber is there for the members as you continue your mission. So as we wind down a little bit, I want to take a few minutes and talk about what you think are some of the challenges ahead. Growth and development. I'm sure the chamber has changed quite a bit since your 28 years here serving our community. But what do you see for the future? Manatee County is going to continue to grow. They're going to have continued issues: infrastructure, natural resources, healthcare issues. It's all going to, burgeon and grow. So what do you see as your challenges ahead, and how would you like to meet those challenges?
Yeah, the chamber began as the Bradenton Board of Trade in 1889. So we have been in existence under one name or another for more than 135 years. And so I predict that 135 years from now, there will be a conversation with the chamber president and CEO, asking very similar questions, Charles, to what, you've just asked me, because I believe that while the way that we deliver value will evolve and has over the past 135 years and will for the next more than 135 years, at its essence, the reason that a Chamber of Commerce exists is because business people in the community believe that they are stronger together.
Correct.
And the chamber provides the vehicle to capitalize on being stronger together. Certainly, growth brings challenges, as we discussed earlier in the segment, but I believe that the business community through the chamber will rise to the occasion to ensure that we're finding solutions to the challenges that come. From a chamber operations standpoint, our membership has evolved as the world has evolved when it comes to how we access information, how, when, and where we want to capitalize on the benefits of membership. So we have to continue to evolve as an organization, our understanding how to best deploy technology to meet people where they are, when they want benefit from the chamber. And so we've got to have our eyes, on the horizon to understand how we continue to be relevant and continue to be able to provide value how and when and where our members need it. Am I worried about that? Not in the big picture. I know that we will figure it out. I know that we have peers across the country. There's more than 8,000 chambers of commerce in the United States alone. We're an incredibly successful peer network as well. We each want each other to succeed. Not only will we lead the way as the Manatee Chamber, but we'll learn from others how they're leading the way in their community.
And incorporate those ideas and different aspects.
That's right.
So Manatee County should be very proud of the Chamber of Commerce, and not only what it does for its member organization, but throughout the community. And you're involved in education at the school level. What is the event that you had, the bank thing?
The Big Bang Theory, right?
Big Bang Theory, which I think is a very...
You're reading my mind. We just had a meeting about that last Thursday to get the date set for the fall. We're working that far into the future. But that's a perfect example. 10 years ago, the Big Bang Theory program didn't exist in Manatee County, but thanks to chamber members sharing their concerns about financial literacy within the workforce, what a compliment to the chamber that those business people came to the chamber and said, here's something we're concerned about in the community. Does this fit with the chamber's mission to try to make a difference?
And how can we help?
And how can we help? And so now the Big Bank Theory is in every public high school in Manatee County. We use about 350 volunteers to be able to reach every high school senior with the Big Bank Theory, which is all about increasing the financial literacy of students, which as seniors in high school, they're just months away, from being potentially out on their own, being a major part of the workforce, pursuing post-secondary education, and we want to equip them to be successful because they're our future employees.
And I think, as you started the Big Bank Theory and it's grown and developed, it's something that students need and want, because you've had such a tremendous turnout and a kind of response to the whole program. So continued success on that and continued efforts are only going to make our students more knowledgeable about financial issues. So very important.
Well, and another example of it's not just a great idea that the business community proposed, but the school district was open to a partnership on it, figured out a way for us to be able to see high school seniors on campus. And so another example of how we don't do this alone. We do this because of partnership and the trusted relationships that we've built over decades.
And that, again, due to your leadership and the guidance that you've provided the board, is so important, because leading the way, these people respect, admire, and know that what you're telling them is accurate and important for their business. And that's kind of the mission as they continue to grow forward. So, tremendously successful, a true leader throughout this community at every level and in every aspect of it, whether it's education, infrastructure, government, natural environment, medical, whatever it is, people listen to you because you have your finger on the pulse of so many different issues and a staff to support you as well. But what is your message to the Manatee County community about the importance of the chamber and where you see that, developing and how people can get involved? What's your message to the greater Manatee County community?
I would say if you're wondering, where's the value, what's the strength of the Manatee Chamber? Again, I'll go back to a term I used earlier, which is, I believe that we are world-class connectors. We're world-class connectors for businesses, for employers, nonprofits, government agencies, to connect to people, to connect to markets, and to connect to important, accurate information to help them be more successful. So if you're curious because you haven't engaged or connected with the Manatee Chamber, I encourage anyone to pick up the phone, shoot us an email, visit one of our offices, and just find out how we might be able to strengthen your business. We are so fortunate that over many decades, we have built a very robust program of work. And so I would also suggest that no two chamber members take advantage of exactly the same mix of opportunities and benefits. So I like to say during our new member orientation, release the guilt. Because the schedule, if you open up the calendar, can be a bit overwhelming. But no two chamber members should take advantage of exactly the same mix of opportunities that the chamber affords, because every business is faced with different challenges. They have different opportunities that they may be looking to seize upon. Exactly. So find the right mix of what the chamber brings to the table. And then my parting comments would be, thank you so much to this business community and to the women and men who for more than 135 years have rose to the leadership call to be involved with the Manatee Chamber.
And as a final comment, I must say to this community, again, thanks to your leadership and involvement, you, the Chamber, have two wonderful buildings that are accessible to the public, to members. You have this wonderful facility downtown Bradenton, and then you have another one in Lakewood Ranch. Very well designed, very well laid out, and available for meetings and other issues that you may face.
Thank you, Charles.
It's beautiful building. You know, you were kind of in between for a while, but it's really a beautiful building and well deserved by the Chamber of Commerce.
Well, we consider both our Bradenton office and our Lakewood Ranch office to be additional front doors for our members. And so when someone new to the community walks into either of our chamber offices, we believe it's a reflection of the business community. So we have a deep sense of responsibility to put the very best impression forward of the businesses that are located here in the greater Manatee region.
And you really certainly have. You know, everything about the chamber is, in my opinion, first class. And that's due to your leadership and your guidance and your efforts on behalf of bringing the very, very best to this business community. Any final words for you?
I would say thank you, Charles, to you and the METV team. You have been incredible partners to the Chamber and to hundreds of other organizations in Manatee County now for multiple decades. Someday, I would like to host a show where you are the guest, and I'm going to put you in the hot seat. So for your schedulers, let's just figure out when that might be. But my final word, I wouldn't be a Chamber CEO and President if I didn't say, if you aren't a member of the Manatee Chamber, please join the Chamber.
Jackie, I so enjoyed talking to you. And you're such a well-informed, knowledgeable leader that Manatee County should not only be very proud, but they should treasure you as a real asset for the continued success throughout Manatee County. And I want to thank you very much for joining us and taking the time out of your very busy schedule, I'm sure, just to spend a few moments with us.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us on this very special edition of Up Close on METV.